What if the calendar wasn't just a way to track dates, but a storybook for the human soul? What if each month held a symbolic chapter, a theme that echoes our inner lives? This isn't about horoscopes or fortune-telling. It's a creative thought experiment inspired by the work of the incredible psychologist Carl Jung. Now, to be clear, Jung himself never laid out a calendar of birth month archetypes. But his work on the collective unconscious, this idea that all of humanity shares a pool of universal symbols, gives us a powerful lens to play with. He saw the seasons as a mirror for our own psychological journeys, a cycle of death and rebirth happening both outside and inside of us. So today we're going to use that inspiration to look at the calendar as a symbolic map. Think of it as a creative exercise in self-reflection. By exploring the archetypal story woven into the time of your birth, you might just uncover a new way of seeing your own patterns and strengths. This isn't about defining who you are, but about offering a new perspective on the person you're becoming. Get ready to see yourself and your journey in a whole new light.
January, the archetype of the sage. January arrives with a deep and penetrating quiet. In many places, it's the coldest, stillest time of year, a season that practically begs us to turn inward. Symbolically, January is more than just a new start. It's a sacred time out to gather our thoughts for the road ahead. The archetypal story that belongs to this month is that of the sage, or the elder. The story of the sage is one of wisdom and maturity that feels ancient. Just like the Roman god Janus, who had two faces to see the past and the future, the sage represents the ability to learn from what's been and plan carefully for what's to come. This archetype isn't about being the loudest voice in the room, but the most competent one, leading through inner strength. It's about being an old soul who understands that real growth happens in the quiet moments. But every powerful story has a shadow. For the sage, that shadow can be isolation or becoming too rigid. Self-reliance can turn into a fortress, making it tough to let others in or ask for help. The journey for this archetype is to learn how to mix that wisdom with warmth. It's about building bridges from that quiet inner world to the world outside, allowing your insights to guide not just yourself, but others too.
February, the archetypes of the visionary. February is a month of subtle but powerful shifts. Winter is still here, but you can feel the first whispers of change in the air. The light starts to return, and the name February even comes from a Latin word meaning to purify. It's about clearing out the old to make room for the new. This forward-looking energy gives us our next archetype, the visionary, or the revolutionary. The visionary is always looking toward the horizon, seeing possibilities that others can't yet imagine. This story is filled with an electric intellectual energy, a drive to innovate, challenge the way things are, and fight for a better future. It's the energy of a dreamer, but these dreams aren't just fantasies, they are blueprints for what could be. This visionary spirit can sometimes feel misunderstood, as if it's operating on a totally different frequency from the rest of the world. But every story has a shadow. For the visionary, that shadow is disconnection. When you're so focused on the big picture, it can be hard to deal with the messy, day-to-day reality of human emotions. You might feel like an outsider, separate from the very people you want to help. The challenge for this archetype is to ground those brilliant ideas in real human connection, bridging the gap between the mind and the heart. March, the archetype of the reborn. March is pure drama. It's the bridge between winter's icy grip and spring's triumphant return. A time when life has to literally fight its way through the frozen ground. Named after Mars, the Roman god of both war and agriculture, March is all about that mix of struggle and creation. This intense energy forges the archetype of the reborn, or the awakener. The story of the reborn is one of deep sensitivity and incredible resilience. It's about feeling the world with an almost psychic intensity,
yet having a warrior's spirit that allows you to bounce back from anything. This archetype is no stranger to tough times, but just like the first shoots of spring, it always finds a way to grow back, stronger than before. This journey of survival creates a deep empathy for others, often making this archetype a catalyst for their own healing and growth. But every story has a shadow. For the reborn, that shadow is emotional chaos. Feeling everything so deeply can leave you overwhelmed by the world's harshness. You might absorb the pain of others until you can't tell where their feelings end and yours begin. The journey for the reborn is to build healthy emotional boundaries, honoring that sensitivity as a gift, not a curse. By balancing empathy with self-preservation, this archetype can fully step into its power as a guide, showing others the way out of the darkness and back into the light. April, the archetype of the warrior. April doesn't knock, it kicks the door down. The name itself is thought to come from the Latin word aperire, to open. And that's exactly what it feels like, an explosion of life. This is a time of pure, unfiltered life force, which gives us the perfect archetype, the warrior, or the initiator. The story of the warrior is a call to action. It's about raw courage, a pioneering spirit, and a deep-seated desire to take the lead. This archetype isn't here to watch from the sidelines. It's here to make things happen, to charge ahead and blaze new trails. There's a fiery, passionate energy that fuels the warrior, making it a force to be reckoned with when there's a goal in sight. This isn't about aggression for its own sake, but about that powerful, creative impulse to bring something new into the world. But every story has a shadow. For the warrior, that shadow is impulsiveness. That act now, think later energy can lead to unnecessary conflict or plain burnout. The challenge for this archetype is to learn the art of strategic patience. Its transformation lies in realizing that true strength isn't just about pushing forward, but also about knowing when to pause, listen, and build alliances. When you channel that fire with focus, you become not just a warrior, but a wise and effective leader. May, the archetype of the builder. In May, the explosive energy of April finally settles down into a period of steady, sustained growth. The world becomes green, lush, and deeply sensual. This grounded, fertile energy is the domain of the builder, or the lover of simplicity. The story of the builder is one of connection to the real, tangible, beautiful world. It's grounded, practical, and has incredible endurance. The builder finds joy in creating things that are meant to last: a garden, a business, a strong family. It represents an appreciation for simple pleasures and the beauty of nature. The builder's rhythm is deliberate and patient, understanding that you need a strong foundation to grow anything worthwhile. But every story has a shadow. For the builder, that shadow is stubbornness and resistance to change. That love of stability can curdle into a fear of the unknown, making this archetype possessive of its routines and creations. It's easy to get stuck in a rut, prioritizing what's safe over what could lead to growth. The path to transformation is all about embracing flexibility. It's about learning that real security doesn't come from clinging to what you have, but from trusting your own ability to adapt and grow. June, the archetype of the mediator. June is a month of pure light, chatter, and connection. It feels social, curious, and playful. The world is in full conversation with itself, giving rise to the archetype of the mediator, or the seeker. The tale of the mediator is one of a sharp, curious mind and amazing communication skills. This archetype is a natural networker, a living bridge between different people and clashing ideas. It has an almost chameleon-like ability to adapt to any social setting and see every side of an issue, making it a natural diplomat, teacher, or storyteller. The mediator thrives on information and interaction, driven by a desire to connect the dots in the world.
But every story has a shadow. For the mediator, that shadow is staying on the surface. That endless curiosity can make it hard to go deep into any one thing, creating a jack of all trades, master of none. It can also look like a fear of commitment, because the mediator is always aware of all the other possibilities out there. The path to transformation is about committing those brilliant communication skills to something that truly matters. Real change happens when this archetype moves from just collecting information to turning it into wisdom.
We're halfway through our symbolic journey through the calendar. Have you seen a little bit of yourself in these stories? Does the archetype of your birth month resonate with you at all? Let us know in the comments which month you were born in and what you think. And if you're enjoying this exploration, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss the second half of the year. Now, let's keep going. July, the archetype of the protector. July is the peak of summer, drenched in the power of the sun and the nurturing energy of the earth. It's a time of abundance and deep emotional ties to home and family. This potent mix of strength and care gives us the archetype of the protector, or the nurturer. The story of the protector is one of powerful defensive instinct. This archetype is deeply connected to its roots, its family, and its own emotional world. There's a quiet, unshakable strength here, like the deep heat of a summer afternoon. The protector is incredibly loyal and will defend its loved ones with fierce determination, creating a sanctuary of safety and belonging for others. On the surface, it might seem calm, but underneath there is a rich and intense inner life, guided by intuition. But every story has a shadow. For the protector, that shadow is becoming overly defensive or even controlling. That desire to keep loved ones safe can lead to building walls instead of healthy boundaries, stifling their growth. This archetype might also hold on to past hurts, retreating into a shell rather than facing emotional risks. The path of transformation is about learning to trust the flow of life. It's about realizing that true protection comes not from control, but from empowering others. August, the archetypes of the sovereign. August carries the confident, royal energy of late summer. Named after an emperor, it's a month that symbolizes leadership, power, and celebration of your wins. The sun is high, the harvest is coming in, and there's a feeling of magnificent self-expression in the air. This radiant, commanding energy is the domain of the sovereign, or the leader. The story of the sovereign is one of natural charisma and a presence that commands attention. This archetype carries an innate sense of self-worth and a desire to shine. It's the energy of a natural leader, organizer, and performer, with a generous heart and a flair for the dramatic. The sovereign isn't afraid to take up space, and it inspires others with confidence and joyful spirit. Its purpose is to lead and uplift, bringing both celebration and order to the world. But every story has a shadow. For the sovereign, that shadow is the slip from confidence into arrogance, or a desperate need for validation. That natural self-worth can become pride, making it hard to admit when you're wrong. This archetype might grow dependent on admiration to feel secure. The journey for the sovereign is about cultivating genuine humility, not by dimming its own light, but by recognizing the light in everyone else. The greatest leaders rule not by demanding respect, but by earning it through integrity and generosity. September, the archetype of the analyst. September marks a huge shift. The humid, abundant heat of summer gives way to the crisp, clear air of autumn. It's a time for harvesting, for sorting the good from the bad, and for preparing for a quieter period. This energy of discernment and refinement gives us the archetype of the analyst, or the perfectionist. The story of the analyst is one of a keen, detailed mind. This archetype has a natural desire for order, efficiency, and improvement. It can spot the flaw in any system and is driven to make things better, whether at work, at home, or within itself. The analyst's approach to life is methodical and thoughtful, finding deep satisfaction in bringing precision to a messy world.
It is the ultimate editor of life, always looking to refine and perfect. But every story has a shadow. For the analyst, that shadow is harsh self-criticism and anxiety. That drive for perfection can become a relentless inner voice, leaving you perpetually dissatisfied and worried. This can also turn outward, leading to being overly critical of others. Choice the path of transformation is to embrace compassion for both yourself and others. It's about learning that good enough can be a more peaceful place than perfect. When the analyst tempers its analytical mind with a gentle heart, its gift for improvement becomes a truly healing force.
October, the archetype of the diplomat. October is a month of stunning beauty and balance. It hosts the autumnal equinox, the moment when light and dark are held in perfect equilibrium. Nature puts on one last breathtaking show of color, creating an atmosphere of harmony and artistry. This graceful, relational energy is the domain of the diplomat, or the artist. The story of the diplomat is one of a search for peace, beauty, and justice. This archetype has a natural gift for seeing both sides of an argument and a deep need to create harmony in its relationships and environment. It's a romantic at heart, with a strong appreciation for aesthetics and a talent for making life more beautiful. The diplomat is a natural peacemaker, thriving in partnerships and collaborations, understanding that the best things in life are often created together. But every story has a shadow. For the diplomat, that shadow is indecisiveness and avoiding conflict at all costs. That desire for harmony can be so strong that it dodges necessary confrontations, or struggles to make a firm choice for fear of rocking the boat. The path to transformation is about learning that true harmony sometimes requires navigating uncomfortable truths. It's about developing the courage to stand for your convictions, even if it creates a little temporary discord.
November, the archetype of the alchemist. November is a month of deep mystery. The veil between worlds is said to be thin, as nature sheds its final layer and prepares for winter's darkness. It's a time for letting go, for facing shadows, and for profound transformation. This intense, penetrating energy gives rise to the archetype of the alchemist, or the deep transformer. The story of the alchemist is one of rare and powerful intensity. This archetype isn't satisfied with surface-level answers. It's driven to uncover the hidden truths of life. It has a sharp, penetrating intuition and a natural ability to see into the depths of the human soul. The alchemist is resilient, resourceful, and unafraid of the dark, understanding that true power comes from confronting what's broken and transforming it into something new. This is the energy of the psychologist, the healer, the detective of the soul. But every story has a shadow. For the alchemist, that shadow is secrecy, suspicion, and obsession. Its deep-diving nature can lead to trust issues or getting lost in its own intense inner world. The path to transformation is to balance that depth with moments of lightness and trust. It's about learning to rise again from the underworld and to share the treasures you've found, using that power to help others turn their own lead into gold. December, the archetype of the visionary sage. December is the darkest month of the year, and yet it's a time filled with light. It holds the winter solstice, the very moment darkness peaks and the light begins its triumphant return. It's a season of celebration, deep reflection, and the promise of a new dawn. This mix of introspection and joyful vision shapes our final archetype, the visionary sage, or the wise teacher. The story of the visionary sage is a unique blend of philosophical depth and an optimistic spirit. It represents a love of knowledge and a desire to explore the world, both with the mind and on foot. This archetype is a natural teacher and storyteller, able to take big, complex ideas and share them in a way that is inspiring and easy to grasp. It's a seeker of meaning on a lifelong journey to find a philosophy to live by and then share that vision with others. But every story has a shadow. For the visionary sage, that shadow is dogmatism or impatience. Confidence in your own beliefs can sometimes look like self-righteousness or an unwillingness to hear other perspectives. The path of transformation is cultivating true open-mindedness. It's about realizing that wisdom isn't a destination, but a continuous journey of learning. When this archetype combines its expansive vision with humble respect for the diverse truths of others, it becomes a truly great teacher. So, as we finish our journey through the 12 months, it becomes clear that the calendar can be more than just a grid on the wall. It can be a symbolic mirror for the soul, reflecting the cycles of growth, challenge, and renewal that make us human. Let's be clear, the archetype of your birth month is not a rigid box that defines you. There's no scientific evidence for any of this. Instead, think of it as a myth, a story, a character you can have a conversation with. It's a creative tool for self-reflection. It gives you a language to think about your strengths, a new lens to look at your challenges, and a map to inspire your personal growth. By recognizing the story of the sage in January, the warrior in April, or the alchemist in November, you open up a dialogue with a deeper part of yourself. This journey won't magically change your life, but the act of self-reflection it inspires absolutely can. It gives you a powerful tool for awareness, and with awareness comes the power to choose, to grow, and to consciously write the life story your soul was born to live. The journey is yours.
What did you discover about yourself today? Share your reflections in the comments below. And if this exploration resonated with you, share this video with someone who might find their own story within these archetypes. Thank you for joining this journey into the heart of the psyche. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the symbols that shape our lives.